So, when I made my previous video on alter ego leaks, I missed out on one thing. That's because this was posted after I made my video already for it. So previously there was a video by Below Natural which actually leaked one of the soundtracks that Enthralist made for Alter Ego. However, Tyler then posted, which is I think the first Tyler leak actually, and the first message by him other than the Ego server tag, which yes, there's a server tag for Alter Ego. He then posted, could your ego use a little adjustment? And here it looks like we've got the magical Elixir shop. That's the old-timey way of saying shop, so PE. Obviously, nowadays you don't have that, it's just shop. Made with 100% Ica, I think that's how it's said. Stop your ego from growing inside. And here we got a statue of someone that's like meditating over a bowl or something. So if this seems familiar, it's because this character has already been leaked. So I believe this character here is the screen character here, this goblin-looking horny dude. Wait, no, not horny. Goblin-looking dude with a hood that has horns on it, not horny dude. Anyways, yeah, so it pretty much is like that, and I do believe it has the same face here. So yes, you can see the bucktooth scene here. We don't see the exact face, but from the bucktooth, from the horns, and from the hood, it's basically the same person. This is also Outer Bears' first comment on this channel saying Elixir, and from this, we can assume that Elixir is a currency, or at least an item that you get in Alter Ego. So from what the description of Elixir here says, it's stop your ego from growing inside. So from that assumption, it seems like one's own character, perhaps, I don't know, its alter ego, is attacking the character, and if you use the Elixir, it stops the ego, or at least pauses the ego from growing inside of you. AKA, if you take the Elixir, it stops your alter ego attacking you, and it probably increases the amount of time you do, or you have, to actually do the tasks. Because here, with Below Natural's announcement on the Discord server, it says, to survive, victims must complete objectives, unlock gates, and escape before losing themselves to ego death. Before losing themselves to ego death, it seems as if this is implying that there's going to be a time limit. They have to complete these objectives and unlock gates and escape. And if you use this Elixir bottle, or whatever it's called, it increases the amount of time that it takes or for your alter ego to consume your body, giving you more time to do these objectives, to open the gates, and to survive. Now, with that being said, it's said that this is an asymmetrical horror game, so what I'd have to assume is that some people could be assigned like alter egos or glory kills, and other people, they're assigned to do survival tasks to like escape. Or it could just be a load of people who are doing all survival tasks, and it depending on how many tasks you do, it could like delay your alter ego consuming yourself, and you need to work as a team to effectively open all of the gates and survive. So it's more like a team game, similar actually to Tower Defense Simulator. I know Tower Defense Simulator, you can solo some stuff, but here with the amount of characters that's been leaked to us, at least 5, probably 6 with the noob that's been recently leaked as well, it looks like it's a team-based thing where you need to complete the objectives while also outrunning your alter ego. Now, no confirmation on if this is going to be a currency or an item. I believe it's going to be an item. I don't know what the currency is that allows you to buy this Elixir from the shop. I think Ica is just like a description of what's inside the Elixir. I don't think it's the currency that the developers are going to use for alter ego. But it's very interesting that they're going down a medieval tone, at least for this character. From what we've seen so far, actually, there's not really a consistent theme for all of the characters. You've got the horror theme, obviously, but then you got this character, the Roblox noob character. I guess that's to be expected, given the fact that there is a vast amount of characters that we can see here. And perhaps that's the asymmetrical part of it. Some characters, they have like different themes, and this one certainly looks more like a medieval theme with the way that shop is spelt and like the stone ruins here. And thank you to the alter ego account, is alter ego out yet account. Apparently this ad is actually similar to the magical witch shop ads that's found in Roblox's Crossroads. So here, the magical witch shop, I don't know how to say that. Mandrake, from Harry Potter, okay? Mandrake root, 38% off, everything for the discriminating witch. Interesting. So, yes, this is pretty similar to that, and I guess Below Natural, or whoever made the sign, based it on that. This account also speculates that it also appears in the new Retro Crossroads map in Tower Defense Simulator 2. Makes me wonder if Paradoxium would retcon these retro maps to be more alter egotistic or whatever. I mean, this isn't exactly a retcon. I mean, that being said, it depends on like the universe or anything, but here you can see a advertisement for Alter Ego, Face Your Ego, in the Hacker Tower cinematic trailer. So it does seem like the cinematic universe where Tower Defense Simulator lays within is quite similar to the Alter Ego universe, given the fact that there is a bit of crossroads between the two games, especially with Tower Defense Simulator. There are similar ads in it, including this, and including that ad that we've seen in Retro Crossroads. And speaking of the Paradoxum Games YouTube channel, here they've actually changed their banner. So on this side you have Tower Defense Simulator, but then this fades into Alter Ego's banner. Yes, this is the banner for Alter Ego. You got the chef, you got Below Natural, you got the dude with horns and a hood and what looks like a staff here, interesting, and you got what's speculated to be the noob leak here. Although that being said, the banner doesn't really cross that much, so as you can see there's a bit of black space and a bit of blue space here, what we call white space. I assume this is just for mobile users because their banner would be shorter. Actually, this isn't the case for Tower Defense Simulator's Twitter at Paradoxum Games. I'm not entirely sure if the developers would change this over into like Tower Defense Simulator related, keeping it like that, or change it over into Paradoxum Games, the metaverse, universe, whatever, because firstly, they've kept the Frost Invasion Operation Ice banner, which is very odd given the fact that we're in the middle of July, but secondly, this is like known to be a Tower Defense Simulator channel which posts about Tower Defense Simulator, so I'm not entirely sure if the developers would want to change that and just like change this to like Paradoxum Games in general, and perhaps maybe tank their following just for Tower Defense Simulator, because if that's the case, the developers would need to make a new account for Tower Defense Simulator specific stuff, similar to how there is a specific account for Alter Ego related stuff, which isn't the same as the YouTube channel, because with the YouTube channel, yeah, you can actually brand it as Paradoxum Games, because, fun fact, the YouTube channel isn't specifically Tower Defense Simulator related because it's actually Profine's original account. Do you know how I know this? Because if you go to Sword Fights on the Heights 4, yeah, that's 4, you'll see there is a trailer on it called Sword Fights on the Heights anime trailer. And what's this? Paradoxum Games. Yes, this is because this is Profine's original account. Perhaps I should make a YouTube video on this. But Paradoxum Games, as you can see here, made this trailer. It's because Profine actually made this trailer, and I think for whatever reason, the developers took over like ownership of Profine's channel, or probably bought it off Profine, however this works, and decided to use it for their own purposes for Paradoxum Games leaks. But in this case, because Profine has made some stuff on this channel that's unlisted, such as Sword Fight on the Heights anime trailer, this causes some issues. And in fact, the Paradoxum Games team has had to clarify here. Clarification, this trailer was made over 2 years ago and is still being hosted on this channel due to it being in use by John Shedletsky. Paradoxum Games has no affiliations with Sword Fights on the Heights 4. Which, I guess, it makes sense. Like, I can't lie. You kind of need to know the concept, as this was Profine's original channel that the developers had just taken over. But yeah, makes sense. But I guess this is why it's easier to brand this channel as Paradoxum Games, because it was never known as the Tower Defense Simulator channel. There is no such channel. So if the developers were to post like Alter Ego leaks, they would post it on the Paradoxum Games YouTube channel, which they can't do on Twitter. It would have to be its own separate handle away from the Paradoxum Games handle, because the Paradoxum Games handle is known for Tower Defense Simulator only. They've also updated their description to mention the game studio behind Tower Defense Simulator and Alter Ego. So I'd have to assume that Alter Ego is coming very, very soon. However, not everywhere the developers have updated their game to show Alter Ego. So for example, here at the bottom, Our Games only has Tower Defense Simulator. Doesn't have the Alter Ego, in fact doesn't have the Alter Ego logo even, saying released sometime or coming soon at the very least. It only shows off Tower Defense Simulator because I guess it's the only one that's been active. Although that being said, they actually have updated. Have they updated it? Because previously I only saw this with like 100k plus peak CCU. That being said though, the copyright here does say Paradoxum Games at 2024, so it looks like they haven't updated it since 2024. You know how I know they haven't updated it since 2024? here they say Tower Defense Simulator has only had 3.1 billion sessions. That's not true. Since February 1st, 2024, they've actually gained another billion visits. So here, 4.1 billion visits. So despite some people saying that maybe Tower Defense Simulator is slowing its growth, not necessarily the case if in a year the developers are able to grow their game by 1 billion visits. However, other aspects of their site has been updated. So as you can see here, for jobs, software engineer content, you can see the recent Core Blocks Hunt Mega Edition as the background. But then if you scroll all the way down, it says copyright Paradoxum Games 2025. So they are updating it. It's just for some reason they haven't updated their home, which I think they should do, given the fact that obviously the Tower Defense Simulator game, it's reached 4.1 billion visits. So like, brag about that more.